Okay, so we keep on going. Now we've got two sessions where we're going to be connecting companies, venture, investment, and so on. And the first one is about unlocking Iberia's deep tech potential to drive Europe's resilience. And we're going to have it with four amazing people and a great host, chair, who's Alex Martí. Today, Mateo Valero was talking about spin-offs that come from the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, and one of them is the one owned by Alex Martí, Mitiga Solutions. But apart from him, we've got to present Carlos Trench from Aldea Ventures, Sofia Santos, Faber, Maria Fátima Lucas, Zymvol, and Eva Sousa from Seamoretech. I hope they are around. Let me see if they can join us. You know what happens frequently is that they've got the first part of the, let's say, debate just back there with a coffee. And that, yeah, join us. And that happens that when they come, they just have it. Welcome in. And the one. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and first of all, thank you for being here in this rainy day. It's great to be one more year here and to see some familiar faces. So just to give you a little bit of context of the panel that we'll be sharing today, we're going to talk about the Iberian entrepreneurial ecosystem. So you probably know that Iberia has been becoming a rising hub for deep tech, and cities like Barcelona, Lisbon, Madrid, and Porto has been in the forefront on cities that are upscaling their deep tech community. Also, Iberia has been a location that is a cutting edge for scientific research. A couple of data points there. Both Spain and Portugal, they invest more than 1.5 of their GDP in R&D, and also they produce more than 20% of all the deep tech papers around Europe. So this tells you the power that the Southern Mediterranean has in this space. And finally, obviously, we have seen a rising appetite of VCs investing in companies both in Portugal and Spain, with more than $2.5 billion per year invested, and this is driven by technological innovation, mainly in AI, robotics, clean tech, biotech, and more recently in climate. So the panel of today basically tries to represent that. You will have two startups, one from Spain, one from Portugal, and two VCs. Again, one from Spain, one from Portugal, that represent that ecosystem, that rising hubs, and that entrepreneurial spirit that we have here in the Southern Mediterranean. So with that, I will just go ahead and introduce the panelists today, which I thank very much for joining us today. I'll start from right to left, from my side. First, we have Fátima Lucas. She's the founder and CEO of Zymvol. Zymvol is a biotech company founded in 2017 that delivers tailor-made enzymes using HPC. We have Eva Sousa, co-founder of Seamoretech, a clean tech startup founded in 2021 based on Porto that empowers desalination plants and chemical industries, saving resources for sustainable future. Then we have Sofia Santos for Faber VC. It's an early stage VC based in London. Sorry, in Lisbon. Lisbon. Iberia, investing in entrepreneurs who innovate at the intersection of science and technology to drive digital innovation and climate action. And finally, Carlos, good friend, Carlos Trench, a co-founder and managing partner of Aldea Ventures. Aldea Ventures is a ventures platform investing in frontier tech by means of funds of funds, and we'll learn a little bit more about that. So the idea that we have is to have three sections. The first two sections will be questions directly to the panelists, and then there will be one that everybody will chip in. With no further ado, maybe I'll give you a minute for each of you to introduce yourself. Give them the one sentence that they will remember you forever.
One sentence. Okay, very quickly, normally when you think about biotech, you think about drugs, you think of applications that are somehow related to biology, but you forget that chemistry can also be done with biotech. So what we're developing in our company is actually clean chemistry, and it's been around for many years, but what we have changed in terms of development is that we're doing clean chemistry in the computer, which allows basically our customers to access good chemistry without spending too much money or too much time, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Eva?
So first of all, thank you very much for your introduction, Alejandro, and it's excellent to be here in this incredible panel. Well, at Seamoretech, we've developed a cutting-edge technology addressing one of the major issues within the desalination sector. Basically, just very briefly, desalination is typically performed through reverse osmosis, and this process generates a harmful byproduct, which is called a concentrated salt stream called brine. And through our circular economy approach, we are actually transforming this byproduct into a valuable resource in order to produce additional fresh water and extract critical raw materials from this stream, particularly targeting the production of magnesium and lithium, which are considered critical raw materials and have a fundamental role in a wide variety of industries.
Okay, so I'm Sofia. I joined Faber in 2013. When Faber launched its first proof of concept fund, and now, 11 years later, we are investing, and we just launched our third institutional fund that is dedicated to applied science. So we are backing scientists like Eva and also Alejandro, and we are proud backers of that. We are a pre-seed and seed deep tech investor based in Lisbon, but investing across Europe with our priority focus in Iberia, and we are proud of that. So.
My name is Carlos. I co-founded Aldea Ventures in 2020 after some time investing in the local ecosystem. Aldea is a venture capital platform targeting the new generation of companies in frontier tech in Europe. And we are doing a different investment model where most of our money is going through specialist funds, where we act as a LP in those funds. So thanks to this strategy, we have an insight of around 1,000 companies in Europe, and we have the opportunity to co-invest in certain of these companies and also take a direct investment in some of them.
Super. And I'm very proud to be able to have the honor of being in the panel, because I look at these four people, and three of them I know very well. These are companies that they started either directly from universities or indirectly from research centers, and those are investors that they have trusted tech coming from science. 5 or 6 years ago, that wasn't that common, and today, you know, they're representing the ecosystem, so kudos to you guys. I'll start with the round of questions, and I'll start with you, Fátima. You always talk about computational enzyme technology. Explain that to a 5-year-old.
Well, I'm going to start maybe by mentioning that this year, Nobel Prize for Chemistry went to proteins and the development of proteins in computers. So again, proteins, normally you think about drugs, but proteins are the entities in nature that are responsible for transforming everything. So when you eat, the food you eat is transformed into your basic nutrients with enzymes. When a leaf falls on the floor and that leaf needs to basically decompose so it becomes nutrients again for the earth, that's also enzymes working. So we never talk about them. They're like these indivisible manufacturers that exist, but they've been in the industry for 50 plus years. So it's not a technology that just showed up. The difficulty is that these enzymes normally need to be modified. You can't just take an enzyme, like one of our enzymes, and put it in, a reactor. Or, for example, I'm lactose intolerant. I don't have the enzyme that breaks down the sugar in milk, but the enzyme that people have, you can't just put it in a pill and then hope for it to work. So you need to modify it, you need to engineer it so that you can adapt it for specific industrial applications. Well, what we've done is take technology that has been around for many, many years for drug discovery and adapt it, that instead of building the small molecule that normally interacts with a large protein, we take the small molecule, which we know already, which is the molecule you want to produce, and change the big molecule. So I'm not entirely sure if a 5-year-old will understand this, and I have always had a hard time explaining what I do to my family, but in a global idea is taking a simulator that, for instance, a flight simulator that you introduce physics constants, and you can anticipate what's going to happen. We can do that at the molecular level and help our customers know what's going to happen before they even enter into the lab.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And I'm not sure if the 5-year-old will understand, but they will be happy that you exist. So maybe I'll stay with you. How have you managed for Zymvol, to a company that has been born here, grown here, to be a reference in the ecosystem, a very male-dominated ecosystem, and how you're planning, or how you're envisioning the company to scale in the years to come?
So we are a deep tech company with a technology that is often hard to explain. And for us to build a company, so we're almost 8 years old, we were very fortunate. I'm Portuguese, even though the company is Spanish, I'm actually Portuguese. I was working here for 9 years, and when I decided to create a company, I realized that Barcelona actually has an amazing ecosystem where scientists that have a hard time building a business can actually access. And actually, you don't know this, but Alejandro and I, we met in one of the accelerators that exist in Barcelona, specifically for scientists that want to put together a company. It's not easy, but I think locally we have an amazing ecosystem that can help deep tech companies build up. Europe has a lot of instruments that allow you to access to funding. But I think at the end of the day, what you need to do is surround yourself with the right people. And again, Barcelona has a lot of great business people, great scientists that have built up a company. There's a lot of technology that people are not even aware of, but that has started in Barcelona. So to be honest, yes, it's an interesting moment, but the ecosystem has been here for a long time. It's not, maybe it's more visible now. But Barcelona Activa, which when I started, I had never even heard about it. I always talk about Barcelona Activa because whether you want to set up a deep tech company or you want to set up, a farm, well, no, maybe a pharmacy is not the best example, but a shop, a beauty shop, or just anything you want to build as a company, you have all the access for free. So you have the best business, some of the world's best business schools in Europe, in the world, actually.
Yeah, no, and if anybody wonders, yes, PhDs can be CEOs as well, so you have a great example here. So maybe moving to Eva, tell us a little bit about Seamoretech. I mean, digitalization is one of the big challenges, society is going to be looking forward. So tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah. So Seamoretech is a deep tech startup based in Portugal. And we are a hardware-focused startup. We are addressing this challenge of the desalination sector, which has to do with the byproduct stream that is produced during the reverse osmosis process. I mean, when we have a desalination facility, typically to produce desalinated water, we have this process really well established, the reverse osmosis, but at the same time, this process has a very low efficiency, around 40 to 50%, which means that half of the stream of seawater that comes into a facility also actually goes out as a byproduct stream, which is a really concentrated salt stream, typically disposed back into the ocean, which has a huge negative impact on marine ecosystem. So our technology is developed to be implemented at the downstream of desalination facilities, collecting this brine and transforming this byproduct into additional fresh water. So actually we are doubling the water production capacity at desalination facilities without disrupting the already existing processes running in the facility. And at the same time, as you know, the ocean is full of important resources, and these materials are highly concentrated in this brine stream. So basically, we are able to retrieve important minerals that are concentrated in this stream, targeting magnesium and lithium right now specifically, because they are considered actually by the European community as critical raw materials. And in case of magnesium, especially, Europe finds itself in a quite fragile situation because we are completely relying on external markets to have access to these minerals. So actually, our technology is offering also alternative, sustainable supply chain, centralized supply chain for the industries in Europe, which is quite aligned with the priorities of the government.
And another good example of a co-founder coming from the University of Porto, right?
Yes, we are a spin-off from the Faculty of Engineering.
Okay. So maybe moving to Sofia, I mean, we know each other for a while, But you guys have been one of the reference VCs in Portugal investing in deep tech. I mean, you have ocean, you have AI, you have climate. So tell us a little bit more about Faber, your geos. What makes Faber special?
Well, you're right. So we have recently launched our fund. Newest fund is dedicated to applied science. It's a flagship fund, and basically it's again priority Iberia, and we'll invest across Europe. In terms of geographies, well, usually the startups are based between Lisbon, Barcelona, but also in other regions of Europe. Mostly our focus is to attract founders and retain mainly PhDs and high-profile people in the science field to be part of the Iberian ecosystem, and then most of the times they can set up their back-end, their engineering in Portugal or Spain, and overall fundraising and do the commercial activities abroad, which is only natural. Our expertise is to help them go from pre-seed, the earliest stage of company formation until Series A, so that's our specialty. And usually what we tend to do is to partner with companies like Seamoretech. They were finishing their PhD, and we managed to help them since the moment, the zero. So we were the first investors, and we will continue to back them. But on the other side, when we started to have a conversation with you, Alejandro, you were at seed stage, more or less, so a little more advanced, but we are still helpful in terms of helping you go through the seed to Series A gap. In terms of themes and our strategy, well, when we say applied science, is basically anyone that is developing an interesting scientific product that has a market, namely in the type of we are targeting industries such as healthcare, manufacturing, space, biotechnology, pharma, but also climate-related and relevant approaches. That's the type of applications that we look for. And of course, we are looking for applied AI, robotics, computational biology, but also at infrastructure level, things like semiconductors, chips, and also quantum computing. So we are expanding our technology approach, but in essence, we look for relevant scientific discoveries that could become a product, and after that, a relevant and scalable company globally. And we want to do that from Iberia, and we want to attract people, not only that are here, but a lot of people are flowing to Iberia and flying, and also
right.
Talent is flowing down here to set up their engineering teams, and we want to be part of that and support that.
Yeah. And I can vouch for that. I mean, I guess I'm a little biased, but you know, Faber has been a very good partner. So maybe in 30 seconds, I mean, you obviously closed your new fund, so congrats on that. So maybe if you want very shortly to just say about the size or whatever you feel comfortable.
Well, we are targeting 6 million, but we just managed to close to do our first close at 31 million. We are an emerging fund manager. We have one of our backers here. Aldea Ventures is one of our main investors. And also, basically, our main strategy is to, again, back relevant founders doing scientific products, and overall, that could, in terms of ticket size, we can go up to 2.5 million. And we do pre-seed and seed and early Series A. Usually we like to lead rounds, so we really like to support and take a relevant role in your company. Eventually also, and syndication, it's also relevant for us. We like to collaborate with other investors. But yeah, and if you have a company in that, at that stage, please do reach out to us.
Yeah. Give an investor 30 seconds to talk about their new fund, they'll use 2 minutes. But congrats on that in any case.
Thank you.
Carlos, we know each other for a while. For me, every time that I think about deep tech Obviously, your image comes to mind. You've been an advocate for deep tech in Barcelona for many years, and also kudos to Miquel, but that's another name that will come to mind. But tell us a little bit about how Aldea Ventures sees the ecosystem in Barcelona. What is your approach to investment, and what does deep tech means to you?
So, thanks, Alex. So I think that one of the main differences between deep tech companies and tech companies should be the level of ambition when the company is created. No? I think that deep tech, by nature, needs to be global from day one. I think that in the terms of deep tech, you are in the B2B business, and your market is the world, and your competition is not in the next city, probably is in other country of Europe or in other part of the world. So I think that Barcelona have a exceptional science base, and we have top researchers, top things. I think that one of the big challenges that we have is to think global from day one when you start the company. No? And this, when we created Aldea, one of the things that we clearly saw is that when you raise your first round of money, you need to take with you two different kind of investors. No? One are those people that have a truly specialization on the technology or the product that you are building. If you are in deep tech, the time between the moment you create the company and you arrive at the market needs a lot of investment building the product. No? So having somebody with you that understand the technology and that can back you, this technology is very important. So I think that having in your cap table funds with deep specialization in this technology is key. The other is you need to board global from day one. And the second point, I encourage most of the founders, is to go outside and try to raise money from the best international investors. And I think if you are targeting the world as the market where you plan to sell, you need to start this by your cap table. Mm-hmm. So don't be shy, go to the money is, and try to raise the money from the specialized investors. No? And I think that one of the main differences the ecosystem today compared with 10 years ago is that the money is traveling. So here you have example of a fund that is based in Portugal and is investing in Barcelona, but you can have funds from the UK and Germany or overseas that are investing at very, very early stage in companies in Barcelona. No? I think this level of ambition, try to have in your board, in your cap table, those investors that are specialized and that have global perspective is something that is very important to, I would say, increase the level of ambition of the companies that are created from the exceptional science that we are here in Barcelona.
Yeah, definitely for the scientific founders in the room that you are at early stage, I would recommend you as soon as they step out of the stage to grab Sofia and Carlos. They're definitely two good people to talk about. Maybe coming back to you, Fátima, I mean, as a science-driven founder, you probably have experienced the hurdles to go from a science to industry, no? From being a startup. Maybe what would be the one thing that it has taken more effort from you, and what would be the one recommendation you will go for future science founders?
I think the biggest difficulty from the beginning, and you've seen it today, is to explain what we do.
Right.
Because when you're a truly scientific-based company, often it's very difficult to explain. If you're developing a drug for cancer, it's easy to explain. It's a very deep tech company, but it's easy to understand. But when you're doing something that is so unusual, that's the biggest difficulty, and it's been difficulty day one, and it continues to be today. Now, I think as a scientist, maybe my biggest recommendation would be, we tend to think that our solutions can fix everything. We tend to fall in love with what we've developed because it's taken us often many years and a lot of effort. And I think the first thing that we need to do as scientists is go out and ask customers if our solution is of any interest for them. So if I would say the biggest recommendation I would provide to scientists or technologists that are looking to bring something to the market, make sure that the market wants to buy it. I would say that's the most important thing.
Amen. You know what you're saying. Maybe, Eva, for you, and then we'll try to keep them around a minute. So you're a local, no? Portuguese company solving a global problem. So how do you see the scalability of Seamoretech in the future years?
Well, right now we are in a early stage, and we are making our first moves to understand the market. I would like to share that actually Barcelona is quite an interesting hub for us. As you probably know, the region is facing intensive water scarcity. So we believe that with our technology we can play a major role in increasing the overall resilience of the water infrastructure in the region. And actually, I mean, more than 10 salination facilities are in the pipeline for the coming years to be implemented here nearby Barcelona. So this is a quite interesting hub. And our first approach is exactly to target the Spanish market, which is between the top players within the desalination sector. So we are really interested in starting in Spain, and then of course we have already identified some interesting hubs in the United States, in particularly in the California region, and then of course the Middle East is a major player, or a major market for us within the desalination sector that we see in our roadmap in the coming years. But right now we are really focused on Spain.
You know, definitely society need companies like yours to succeed, so you definitely have our support. Sofia, tell us a little bit about the type of deep tech teams and companies that you like to invest, and maybe a couple of companies in the portfolio that you would like to share.
Well, one of the most recent investments that we did, actually it was in a chip development area to accelerate and to decrease the energy consumption in the field, to be announced both. Also, that level of infrastructuring, the engineering and the computational part, I think it's super interesting, but also we always have the hat of understanding how to invest in technologies that will be resilient and sustainable in the future. And so one of the major concerns right now is about energy availability and consumption, but also the ability to continue to develop continue the pace of technology development that we need to rethink the infrastructure that is the foundation layer of that. So that's definitely an area that we are looking into. Also, companies that are providing easier access and cheaper access to healthcare overall, and through the application of AI and other relevant technologies such as photonics, and with a mix of hardware. We have a couple of examples in our portfolio that they promise and actually deliver that. It's the case of Sword Health, it's the case of iLove, which is a company that is blending photonics and AI to applying that technology to personalized medicine, and if they work, they will be able to diagnose and complex diseases at a very in a very accessible way, not only for the patient, because the diagnosis will be easier and less painful, but also of course, in terms of cost, it will be way lower. So those are the types of things that we are looking into, but also anything that at the end of the day will help us as a society, and also in Iberia and in Europe, to rebuild the infrastructure of manufacturing, of healthcare, of climate approach, and also energy, everything that will make us more adapt to the challenges that are coming. I think science will play a huge role in solving those problems, as we know, and we are here to back those founders, but a lot of relevant and interesting problems to be solved. We just need the people to do it.
Yeah, please continue to do so. Nowadays, we have a question, we go to ChatGTP, but for this question, I will go to Carlos GTP, which is, where is the Barcelona ecosystem deep tech going to be in 5 years from now?
Where?
Where? Where do you envision? And you have 30 seconds for that, so.
So I'm not having the crystal ball, no, about this. What I see is, I think the future of venture, it will be in the deep tech arena. So I think that everything that is related with computer science, AI applied to many different things will have a lot of interest. The second thing is, I see that Barcelona have every day a much more diverse ecosystem of founders, no? Both local and international, first-time founders and serial entrepreneurs, local VCs, international VCs, no? I think we have the opportunity to grow and to grow faster. I think that probably the thing that we need to improve is the level of ambition of our founders. And I think that this is something that probably we need to help both in the tech transfer offices, both in the entrepreneurial programs, both put in some examples, no, as the ones that we have today, and that are showing that it's possible, no, to start a company with this global perspective from day one. No? I think that if we increase the level of ambition, I think the city have the talent and the access to capital to develop exceptional companies, no, from here. No? So I think that it's something that depends on us. No? So I encourage everyone to think big from day one.
Yeah, we definitely have a good example here. So I want to thank the panelists for coming in a rainy day and sharing their thoughts, and also to Mikel and Tech Spirit to put in this great event again. And well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.